What's going on, everybody? Dustin here, back with another video. It's so good to be back with y'all. Finally, a change in scenery here. Just had a couple days to regroup and really get out in the open world here. And it's a little bit windy out today, but we'll see if we can make this video work. I wanted to know what you all think is in it for the future, what you're excited about. And on this channel, we really focus on staying positive. So like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you all being here to just chat with me. Today's topic is really going to be centered around the future of companies like Tesla, the EV market, and just electric vehicles in general. And I really wanted to know where you guys think that's heading. I think there's a big future for it, and it seems like the left is really opposed to the idea of somebody they don't like being somebody like Elon being in charge of Tesla and its ownership, and the events that have happened with the burning of the Tesla vehicles and vandalizing the vehicles in the past few days that have gone on. And if you notice, it's really sad because you really don't see companies like Chevy or Kia getting their vehicles vandalized. Maybe it's just something to do with the new American way of things getting back to the way they should be. And, back on track. People may not like that. They might not like certain people being in charge of the EV segment, the EV market. And it's okay that they took the vehicle mandate away, because we want to get back on track, back to a world that's not all about old school. Old school is great, but we can't rely on it for the future. What worked in the past is great. Economically, we need to continue to do what we did in the past, but now there's AI, there's the Tesla robots Elon's announced are being distributed next year. He had mentioned 2027 being the year that 50,000 of these units, at least 50,000, were going to be distributed. And then we're looking at numbers well over 200K. So if we have our own robots to be able to do things for us, robots, there's no law that robots can be charged with crime or anything like that, or that they could be punished in any way. I'm sure there might be a way that, stipulations against the robots being taken away from you, but it all goes into the EV market too. This is our future. And whether you can get the short range EVs on the pre-owned market, like the Kia Soul EV and stuff like that, there's still options like the Niro out there and all. But Tesla is ultimately bringing the cost of their lower tier, I'll use the term lower tier vehicles, their cheaper vehicles down, without really that having a huge impact on their quality for the most part. So pretty exciting stuff. Here we were so long ago, centered around, oil and gasoline and all this. And there's still a lot of people out there who use gas vehicles and such that need them. It's still a huge part of our market and where we're at today. But something is brewing, and we must find ways in the future to tailor ourselves to those more hybrid, full EV type vehicles for the future. I see a lot of senior citizens hopping on board. I see a lot of people up in their retirement years getting on this bandwagon of, hey, we want hybrid, we want EV, we want at least some part of our transportation to be electric, even 10% of the time when I don't need a vehicle to be running. And it's crazy because there's value in Honda, there's value in Toyota, there's value in the more reliable vehicles. But a lot of things aren't really being made in the States nowadays. So with a company like Tesla, you could see, and even Chevy has some of their vehicles, they try and stand on the American brand as best they can, being made in the States. So this is just really interesting, and I want to know what y'all think about the future of Tesla and the vehicle aspect. For right now, we're talking about the vehicles of just, maintaining that EV market, if you will. Just exciting to think about the fact that we'll eventually have to force ourselves one day to adjust to a full, if not 35% at least, EV market in the near future. It's just heading that direction, and the vehicles are just getting better and better. Now, I get it, nothing's perfect, and there are downsides to this, but really the upsides are no cost in vehicle maintenance, and no cost in gasoline, no cost in any of that. I was doing the research, and commuting hours on end to a job back and forth for some of us who are in that situation is costly, and it puts wear and tear on the vehicle, and certain states require an upkeep to keep that vehicle on the road. I just read something today about DoorDash requiring, or not DoorDash, it was Uber requiring a lot of these transportation vehicle apps, the taxi type apps like Uber, requiring a lot of these vehicles to be a certain year or newer because they have to be reliable. But the problem nowadays is nothing new is reliable. None of these new cars, we're slowly figuring that out, that none of them are reliable. There's value to be had in new, but new, you have to pay to play, and not everybody has new car money. Not everybody can afford the money up front, the upfront cost on an EV and everything that goes into that. But you're ultimately saving hundreds and thousands of dollars on vehicle maintenance and gasoline and engine work. But if a lot of these EVs can be proven to, even the battery alone can be proven to last 3, 4, 500,000 miles, that's still 3, 4, 5, 6 times longer lasting than any vehicle on the market today. Even Toyota, something like that is going to be cheap to maintain, but if they want to keep gasoline vehicles around, they have to incentivize people to buy them, lower the cost of gas, lower the cost of overall of parts for vehicles, and the hourly rates that these industry mom and pop shop repair companies, car repair companies, want to be paid. per hour. And there are plenty of great engine shops out there who manufacture engines from the ground up. I'm not saying that that's not valued or valuable, but if somebody can get a, Silverado EV or an F-150 Lightning for the same cost, if not less, with, incentivized gas price cuts, to their budget. They don't have to pay for gas. They don't have to pay for the maintenance on it as much. They're probably going to go down that road. And those prices are coming down, is what I've noticed. Tesla prices are coming down dramatically for their base vehicles. Nothing like the Cybertruck, obviously, is a big vehicle that's costly. But if people are using that for business, they're ultimately writing off the vehicle on taxes. So, which is great. But it's just exciting to think about like a change in that market. If we're forced to go down a certain route where we are forced to put ourselves in situations where we can afford these electric vehicles, we can actually go out and convince ourselves to buy them in the future, finance them, lease them, whatever your situation is. Put a small amount of money down, no money down, good rates, bad rates. Either way, they're going to have to, and we're going to have to find ways to work with them, and they're going to have to find ways to work with their customers. The EV segment is no longer targeted towards people who are rich, to the ultimate wealthy. It's targeted towards everybody now. Upcoming families who are just starting out and growing their families, and senior citizens and all that, are part of this market now for the EVs. But we're not going to get to this space where we can really afford all this if we are just fighting over who's in charge of these companies, and it's because we don't like it, and throwing our fists up in the air, swinging our bats at these vehicles, throwing our Molotovs in the cockpits of these vehicles. It's not going to help anything. If anything, the vehicle mandates were great. It was great to have an economical vehicle program, but why can't we have both? Why can't we have lower costs on EVs, saving families thousands and thousands of dollars, and making them more affordable, but at the same time bringing down the cost to repair a gas vehicle and insure it, maintain it, do an oil change on it. An electric vehicle is really a computer at the end of the day. And computers actually last. They really do. Unless they're unless they're 20 years old, usually you don't have problems with them, and you can get new computers every year. But what if we could make EVs like computers, where they are not literally as cheap in cost, but literally so cost effective and so reliable and so valuable and so so high quality, that we're pumping hundreds and thousands and millions of these vehicles out, just like the robots. And we can upgrade every year. Or we can, and it would make sense. Or it could be like the latest iPhone where you could upgrade every 2-3 years, with lower costs than we see now. I say we do everything and anything to move that goal post forward, because a lot of people are going to realize that there's value in that EV market. So, yeah, I just wanted to just touch on this subject with you guys today because it's something that's been near and dear on my heart, and my brain's just been, trying to wrap my head around this idea. So, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are succeeding in your own ways to strive to be better in your heart, your mind, your soul every day, and just striving to be a good person. So hopefully 2025 and on are good years for getting people where they need to be in the EV market. I hope that we can all put ourselves in positions to be in those markets daily. So, okay, guys, love you all. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.